I'm back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How's it going? They're out, getting along. It's quarantine. It's quarantine cut's getting a bit ridiculous, don't you think? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely outrageous. But such is life. I'm starting to get used to it. I mean, I'm a scruffy guy at the best of times, so being locked in your house for weeks and weeks on end does not really the best, is it? Starshia's looking good. How's it going, everybody? My name is Levi Clay, and this evening I am going to be talking to you about stealing musicians' DNA. We're going to be doing a listening party. We're going to listen to Jigsaw, the Mike Stern record. Talk about why I picked that record, and get an insight into Mike's playing. And I'm going to give you the kind of methodology I use for, as I say, stealing musicians' DNA, getting into their mindset, getting into what it is they do, the things that they do that you really enjoy, and how you can go about kind of taking those things and developing that's not a word, developing them into your own practice sessions. So the story goes, this month on my Patreon page, we are looking at Michael Brecker. We're focusing on Michael Brecker, at least that's the plan. And, trying to find the right Michael Brecker things to transcribe is proving problematic for my live streams because you need to use live recordings. You can't really use things that have been released on record because then you get copyright claims. And the more and more I look for good videos of Michael Brecker that I know people will actually be able to transcribe, the more and more I'm like going to some of the Stern stuff that he played on, and then I just end up listening to Mike Stern. And it just occurred to me that, you come from my speaker. Sound should be a little bit better now. So working on listening to a bunch of Mike Stern, always been one of my favourite players. Kind of got me thinking, well, I should transcribe some Stern lines. And I've actually got a video of Martin Miller coming out soon where we're talking about Mike Stern transcriptions. But yeah, I thought I'd take it as an opportunity to really sit and listen to some Mike Stern. I love Mike's music, always loved Mike's music. I've been listening to a lot in the last, as I say, few days. But the opportunity to share that love of Mike Stern with you, that's kind of cool. I like that. And in fact, I can actually prove this. If you go back and look at any of my other listening parties, when you look at this stream, this Spotify stream, screen, I should say, down on the left-hand side, you can see playlists. And if you look down there, there's always been a best of Mike Stern. So I have a Mike Stern playlist that I use when I'm wanting to get myself in the mood. And when you look at, these playlists, I have a killer guitar playlist, the Ozzy Osbourne, the Jerry Reed, the Joe Pastor Bumblefoot, the Mike Stern, and the Brad Paisley. That's a very exclusive list. And Mike had to go high on that list because I absolutely love Mike's playing. So, right, let me just do the usual. Thank you very much to my supporters over on Patreon. You keep these streams coming to people. That makes you a good person. Link in the description if you want to check me out on Patreon. You can also check me out. You can also support me as a YouTube VIP. There is a join button next to the subscribe button below. Another great way to support the channel. There's a PayPal donation link in the bottom. In fact, if I just do this, that information. And just to reiterate, this is a listening party stream. I will not be playing the record over the stream. That's not the focus. I can't do that. That would be copyright infringement. So there is a link in the description where you can check out this record on Spotify, or you can use your streaming app of choice to listen to it. So you might want to use, I don't know, Tidal, maybe own it on CD. I always say this. Maybe own it on CD, like I do. You get the idea. And lastly, if you would like to check out one of my books, please do head on over to Amazon, have a look for Levi Clay, and you can see some of my works. Now, that's actually an interesting subject. So, talking about my works and my writing, a big part of the writing side of things, a big part of writing for books, writing for magazines, a huge part of that is doing copyright-free versions of artists in the style of stuff, if you like. I've written for Premier Guitar Magazine for many years now, and not done a column for those guys for a while because I've been real busy. But a big part of that has often been picking an artist and then dissecting their style. And this is how I go about doing that. It's a wonderful, wonderful use of your time and a wonderful way to develop your ear. This is a great way to get inside a player's head and to improve your own playing. So this is the type of thing that I would do if I was looking to write a column on Mike Stern. I'm trying to think if I've ever actually written a column on Mike Stern. I don't think I've actually written a column on Mike Stern. Surely I've done a Mike Stern column. Let's have a look. Be very surprised if I haven't. Actually, haven't. I've covered him a lot on my YouTube channel over the years. In fact, fun story for you. Years ago, several years ago, I had my YouTube channel ended up being deleted for a couple of weeks because I got 3 consecutive copyright strikes from Mike Stern's manager. It was actually Mike Stern and Frank Gambale's manager, and then I made a video calling the guy out, and he copyright claimed that one in order to shut me down, to shut the criticism down. Which, you know, you can't do that. It's just not a good way to do things, especially when you're doing it on behalf of someone like Mike Stern, who has instructional material out there where he's playing and teaching like Autumn Leaves and Giant Steps and things like that. These are all, you know, licenses weren't purchased for those either. Mike Stern got as good as he is by transcribing and learning the lines of the great players, right? And I know Mike Stern would not be the guy that would want people to not transcribe his work. You know what I mean? To me, to someone of my age, Mike Stern is as influential to me as Charlie Parker was to Mike Stern. So yeah, that's ridiculous that his manager would do things like that on Mike's behalf. Took me a while, but I managed to get in touch with Mike Stern himself. I had a phone call with Mike for an hour. We just chatted music for a bit, and then he said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it for you. I'll make sure it's sorted for you. It won't happen again." But Mike Stern, excellent guy. He's the happiest man in the world. Biggest smile. I've seen Mike play probably in excess of 10 times. Which doesn't sound like a lot. If you live in New York, you've probably seen him a lot more. But, you know, when I live on the other side of the world from him, I've probably seen Mike Stern live more than just about anyone else. I absolutely love going to see him live. Always has great bands and love his music. Anyway, let's take a look at these comments and then we will get on with things. Christian, how's it going? Archie, how's it going? Richard, how's it going? The Bray Wyatt beard is very much on the way. Yeah. -7 #5, how's it going, bro? Actually been working on Stern stuff this week using the Hal Leonard book. That's actually a really good point, right? So everything that we're going to talk about tonight, you could achieve all of this by using the books that exist, right? There are a good few books on Mike Stern's playing. Obviously, I own all of them. And actually, some of them are actually pretty damn good, to be fair. But what I've always found is when it comes to learning stuff from a book versus putting in the work and learning it yourself, you'll always retain that information a little bit better if you learn it yourself. So, yeah, they are good books, but trust me, Archie, putting some of your own work in this, you will notice progress. That's the East End Natural Health Centre. Ooh, natural health. I don't know how I feel about that. Love your channel. Thank you very much. And I hope you're getting lots out of them. Joe Lang, how's it going, dude? Make us a Western swing list. That's a really good idea, man. I should absolutely do that. Big Western swing fan. The recommendation I always give people is the Hot Club of Cowtown, the band The Hot Club of Cowtown, which is Whit Smith's band. And the reason I pick those guys, guys and gal, is because it definitely has that early Western swing sound. It's very authentic, but it's also very well produced. I'd recommend the album What Makes Bob Holler. That's a great tribute to Bob Wills. Yeah, check that one out. Have I been checking out the Vital Information album? Which one? Which one? The one that Stern played on? I can't locate that. And actually, I could go on a bit of a rant about this. So Spotify is amazing because, you know, huge access to music, but there are records that just fall through the cracks, and we've obviously, you and I, -7 #5, have talked about this because Michael Brecker, his first 2 records are not on Spotify, at least here in the UK. They may be where you are, but they're not available in the UK here. And it's the same with Vital Information. Like, you cannot find that first album anywhere. At least I certainly can't. I've never heard it, and I would love to hear it. So if anyone has access to that, that would be really cool. I'd like to check that out. Because it's not on Spotify, it's not on YouTube, can't find anywhere to access it. So yeah, get the idea. And East End Natural Health Centre, I love the interview with Jake. I love Jake. In fact, speaking of Jake, if I bring up the credits, we will see Jake Lizio down there in that credits roll section. Been a long time supporter of the channel, and the fact that he'd have me on his channel just tells you what a good guy he is. Just wants to help me out. I appreciate it. The Aesthetic Edgy Boy, how's it going? The Aesthetic Edgy Boy, or the extremely talented musician as I'm coming to know him as, which is generally quite annoying. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to post the link to my Discord server. If you want to continue this conversation after this stream, if you'd like to have fun with us over there, here is a link. Our Discord server posted in the link thing, posted in the. Saw Mike several times a couple of years ago playing with Randy Brecker. He's such a nice guy and killer player. Yeah, I've seen Mike in some amazing bands. It's always a masterclass whenever you go see Mike. You just know you're seeing the best of the best. Every time I've seen him, like, there's a contingent in the audience that aren't even there to see Mike. They're there to see Dave Weckl. Or there's a contingent of bass players that are there to see Tom Kennedy. And you're just like, this is so cool that you just have the best of the best coming out with you all the time. I've got to see a bunch of great sax players with Mike. And my favourite, I saw him at it's called The Chapel. I can't even remember what that place is now. It's been so long since I've lived there. But yeah, there's a chapel that I saw Mike Stern play in, and I had front row seats for it. And he's just playing in with this massive stained glass window behind him, which is beautiful. But he played the first tune, and he got to his guitar solo, and then he took his solo, and then he finished and was letting the other guys take their thing, do their thing. And he just got down off the stage and just sat next to us. And looked up at the band, and again, anyone that's seen Mike, they know that he just looks like this all the time. He turns to us, he's like, "Hey guys, how's it sounding?" I don't sound anything like Mike Stan. "How's the sound up there? Is it you having a good time?" "Yeah, Mike, this is fantastic." And he's like, "These guys really cook." And he just sat and watched bass player, drummer, just saxophone, just watched them play. Then eventually went, "I gotta get back up there." What a nice guy. He's very funny. Okay, let me adjust the gate just a little bit. I know you don't like it, Richard, when the gate cuts me just a little bit, but it's a huge difference when I'm actually doing this listening, and you don't want to hear me breathing when I'm doing the listening. You know what I mean? So, East End Natural Health Centre is in New York City, and I've seen him. Yeah, cool. I hope you're doing well out there, man. I hope you're not. I hope you're quarantined and staying safe. Didier Lockwood, thanks, man. Yeah, fucking ridiculously talented piano player and musician. Yeah, Mike, funny guy. Funny guy. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is, hang on, allow me to bring this up on Spotify so you can see the process. So, we're going to be listening to the record like this, okay? Now, normally I would be doing this with a pen and paper, but I looked around in my studio and I was like, I don't have a pen and paper. I have no pen and paper. So what I've got is I've got a notepad file. Oh, lost it. What I've got is I've got a notepad file like this. Very simple, very obvious. You probably see where I'm going with this. And I'm going to have this on the other screen. And as I'm listening to the record, I'm going to be paying attention, really listening to everything that's happening. But I'm going to save time. Now, this is a Sean Baxter trick. This is very much a Sean Baxter trick. I love transcribing things from start to finish, right? That's like solving puzzles. You know what I mean? A jigsaw, if you like. And I have a lot of fun with that, starting with a completely empty blank page and then filling that out until we've got a full thing at the end of it. I love that, but that's very, very time consuming. And we don't necessarily want that when we're just trying to steal someone's musical DNA. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to listen to this record, and when another way round is happening, if anything really grabs my ear, anything jumps out, I go, oh, that was a really cool run that he played at 37 seconds. I'm just going to do that, okay? And that's going to tell me that when this record is finished, that I can then go back to these moments and go, there was a cool thing that I enjoyed there. I need to transcribe that one thing. And what we're going to find is maybe 4 or 5 things from each song. And then at the end of that, we'll have, a bunch of things that we can actually learn. We can distill the information down to the things that grab us this time. And the beautiful thing about this is what you may find is you might listen to this record again in 6 months, and you might pick out different things. Different things might jump out to you. So I can tell you right now that the thing that I'm wanting to do with Mike is his long 16th note runs. Those are the things that are going to jump out to me. But yeah, you get the idea. Very, very simple in concept. I'm going to move that over here so you don't have to see it. Let's read these last things. He does have an authentic love for music. Different genre, but Steve Wilson was like that for a while. Yeah, the best musician. Yeah, that's totally true. Yeah, music nerds would go see the band play. Totally. Follow Mike solos is rough. Watching his rig run down, I don't know how he maintains. You don't know how he maintains a permanent smile. Oh, I see what you mean. Like, because he's constantly smiling. I actually got I got to interview Mike. I've interviewed Mike a couple of times actually, and I got to hang out with him at Ronnie Scott's, and I sat in Ronnie Scott's with him before he went on stage, and he was just warming up. But he was using the opening act's amp, and he was just playing through his rig just to warm up. And he didn't have access to his chorus pedal, his chorus module. So I got to listen to Mike Stern play for about 45 minutes without a chorus pedal. That is a very unique experience. Not many people get to experience that, but I experienced that. That was cool. Mike Stern playing without a chorus. The thing with Mike is he's such an incredible player, such a nice guy. I admire the fact that he's been consistent with his tone over the years, even if I can just... I don't want to say objectively, but really confidently say he has the worst tone. He really does have the worst tone. But I admire that. I admire the fact that he's never felt the need to delve into that. He's never felt the need to go, maybe I'm going to try something different other than the Boss DS1. Is he using the Boss DS1? That sounds about right. I forget what he's using, to be fair. But he's never gone down that boutique route. He absolutely could have. There could have been some point where he went, I'm going to start refining my sound a little bit. But that's not Mike. He just has his thing and he just does it. So yeah, that's cool. So again, guys, I'm going to be starting this record in a minute. There is a link in the description. Please do head down to that, check that out, and make sure that you join the album on Spotify. We'll have fun with this one. Let's have a look at this. Archie says, could be me. Notes when Stern is in G minor or E minor, he accents around the pentatonic, but when in B flat minor, he plays more horn-like lines. Most likely since B flat. Is this most... maybe. I mean, I'd not really thought about it, but it's totally possible. Yeah. So why did I pick the record Jigsaw is a question. It's not one that you've asked, but some of you may be thinking it. I wanted to play Time and Place, right? That's my favourite Mike Stern record. But honestly, the only reason I didn't play Time and Place is because I've listened to that album so much. So I know where all the great moments are. Whereas Jigsaw is a good record. It is a really good record. But I've put nowhere near as much time into listening to this record. Let me tell you a brief bit about it. So Jigsaw is the fourth studio album by Mike Stern, released in 1989. So it's not quite as old as I am, for Atlantic Records. It was reissued on July 17th, 2007 through Wounded Bird Records. Album reached number 12 on Billboard's top contemporary jazz albums in 1989. 7 tracks on the album, and in terms of the band, the things that jump out, I mean, Dennis Chambers plays drums on it, which is cool on some of the tracks. Does he play? Yeah, he plays on Jigsaw, the track Jigsaw. Of course, Mike Stern on guitar. But the interesting thing is this record features both Bob Berg on saxophone. Now, Bob, fantastic saxophonist, but also Michael Brecker on the iwi, electronic wind instrument. And that's kind of cool because you'd expect, well, I'm not going to say you'd expect Michael Brecker to be playing the saxophone, but I think it's cool that Michael's still on this record, but restricting himself to the iwi, which is something that he definitely explored a lot in his career. Oh, why is Vital Information? Because I was searching for that Vital Information. I was searching for that record. I was searching for the first one. I wanted to hear that first record because Mike Stern plays on it. Makes sense? Okay, so relatively short album compared to some of the live streams we've done. It's 46 minutes long. I'm going to bring it up on Spotify, and we are going to play this one together very shortly. So please do head on over to that page. Okay? One last thing, just going to say again, one last time, big thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. Link is in the description if you would like to check me out on Patreon. You can, of course, super chat during this. You can check my PayPal link out, and you can join me on YouTube as a YouTube VIP by clicking that join button. You can also check out one of my books on Amazon. Great way to support my work. In these tough and trying times, it's nice to be able to make a living. Right. Okay, album on Spotify. So I'm going to cue this album up now. We're going to go another way around, and I am just going to make notes. I'm going to talk about the record while I'm listening to it, of course. Just make sure I'm not going to have that audio bleed through to you, because it'd be bad. Yeah, so I'm just going to do that. Check these final comments. You have previously explained about Guitar Pro 7.5. Can you tell me where I can get tab files like GP3 or... No, I have no idea. Some people have tones that do not work for anybody else. Mike did a recent album with Jeff Lorber. Yes, I've not listened to that one. That's this one here. Haven't bought it yet, but I like Jeff Lorber. Yeah, Jeff's great. I actually haven't even listened to Trip, to be honest. That's interesting because looking at the text, the titling on it, the S in Stern is capitalized, but he hasn't capitalized the M in Mike, so no idea why he did that. But, you know, fair enough. Okay, I'm going to get another way around playing in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring my chart up. They're probably not the type of things that I'm going to be wanting to be doing. I like this, but it's certainly not the type of thing that I'm going to be stealing. It's not trademark Mike. I mean, it is, but... You could transcribe the, like the chord change to there, because that's very Mike Stern. The arrangement style, melody, and then melody with saxophone. That's cool. That sounded like Mike played the melody, but he kept a pedal tone on top of it. You're not supposed to be able to hear it, BMF. I can't keep explaining this. Why would I be able to play Mike's music on my stream? I dig the fact that there's, he's not really gone off yet. He's not blowing any steam off. This is about melody. This is about groove. This is commercial. Okay. Now, tempo-wise, this probably isn't going to... Not a lot in this is going to grab me. Because at the speed, you've got the option to either play... Triplets, I guess. That's a kind of trademarky mic stamping, but not the type of thing that I'm looking at learning. Oh, that's cool. That's about 3:30. This is him doing the fat time thing. that saxophone and guitar thing together, I love the timbre of the way those two things work with each other. Cool little rhythmic motif, if you like, but so yeah, only really the one lick out of this that jumped out as something that I need to steal. And of course, you can expect a video where I teach all of these licks. I love Bob's saxophone playing. It's just super melodic, isn't it? I mean, that. I've just made a note of that little run that Bob played. Because of course, stealing from other instruments is a big part of getting developing your ear. Okay, fine. So that's another way around. Moving on to the track Loose Ends. I just can't wait to get to the track Jigsaw. For anyone that's tried to learn Jigsaw, I say tried to learn. Jigsaw is a fucker to play, an absolute fucker. I wish I was better at transcribing chords because that piano part is cool. I mean, I could transcribe it. It'd just take me a while. So that sound of guitar and saxophone playing unison melodies is just really nice. To be fair, that tone is not very Mike Stern. I like that. Oh, -7 sharp 5. I can't believe you're not listening to more Mike Stern. Ah, you lunatic. Those little syncopated unison lines, they're very... beautiful chord changes. Reminds me of the song Gossip. Bit bluesy. There we go. The 225. It's the kind of bop double time lines, aren't they? Just... I'm going to make note of that lick, the 3-minute mark one. I didn't think it was as slick as the previous one, but... I'm going to pass on that one. That's cool. 340. Yep, cool line, 348. Nope. For anyone that hasn't had the joy of seeing Mike live, maybe you're unable to see Mike live, there's 2 really, really good concert DVDs, Blu-rays, the Paris concerts. Sure, they're both in Paris. They are spectacular. Special mention to the one that has Tom Kennedy on bass. I kind of like that line, but I know range-wise it's going to go too low for me to be able to steal it. Yeah, that was a cool line. Super bop. Maybe make a note of it. That's cool too. Harmonics, very cool. Yeah, Mike is hardcore, hard bop, I would say. Exactly the same principle, just looking for the same things. Archie says he's only seen Stone once, but it was with Miles at the Jazz Fest, which had Zappa, BB King, or B Flat King, as you put it, Stevie Ray Vaughan all on the same day. Yeah, that would go way over your head. Also, like, obviously Mike Stone with Miles is cool, but as far as guys that played with Miles go, I don't think Mike was allowed to be Mike. Mike always tells that story of how when he joined Miles's band, he's wanting to show off, do all these bop lines, and Miles is like, "No, man, just turn it up loud and play like Hendrix." Just turn it up loud, man, and play like Hendrix. Mike does a good Miles impression. I don't do impressions. Yet in this stream, I've done an impression of both Mike Stone and Miles Davis. Beard wiggle. I like jazz like this because while my favourite Mike Stern tunes tend to be the more upbeat, funky rock ones, this is just very tender. B Flat King, my favourite. My favourite blues player. Honestly, like you could just close your eyes and just relax back into this because it's a journey. They just constantly take you on this just beautiful journey. You don't know where things are going to go, but you're happy to just let them take you by the hand. That is a cool line in terms of the contour of the way it flows through the chords. Very nice. Oh, minus 7 sharp 5. So honestly, man, I promise you, I'll send you my Mike Stern best of playlist because none of these songs so far have been. I wouldn't put any of these on a Mike Stern best of. Yeah, we can. He has such an incredible pick attack or lack thereof. It always feels like he's just caressing the strings, and I can tell you why that is. Actually, when you watch him play, if you watch him, there's the Troy Grady stuff with him. He holds the pick so far back that the pick has so much flex when it hits the so much resistance, so much give, sorry, when it hits the string, that you have a less efficient transfer of energy into the string, and so your pick essentially does brush the strings, whereas if you hold very little, like I have a direct transfer of energy into the pick, into the string. Saxophone just again proving that it is the boss of all instruments. Yeah, Mike's picks aren't. I mean, they're a hell of a lot thinner than my picks as well. My picks are 2.75 mil, so I'm playing these like gypsy jazz esque picks. And yeah, Mike, that combination of a thinner pick and then holding it further back. I don't know how he gets the accuracy in his playing like he does. It's very interesting to watch him his picking hand actually. Oh. So we're heading into the. This is Bob Berg, minus 7 sharp 5. Bob Berg. So as we head into this next track, Jigsaw, right, this is immediately going to go straight into your best of list. It should go in all of your best of lists, and I would love for all of you to try and cover this because it's a fucker. What I want to point out is the blend of the bass note, the bass part that he plays, and then the melody, the way they interact with each other. Very cool. Here we go. Unison. chord changes. And then we go on a bit of a descending bass line. Filthy. Still not done with the head yet, though. We're a minute and a half into this head. Now you get a bit of repetition, like a motif. Love that chord. Okay. Yeah. Really hammering that flat 5. I know what I'm looking for. $230. That's great. Like $235. Similar. $248. I'm doing the fast blues rock thing. $312. Short runs, right? Sticks a delay on now, doesn't he? Yeah. All of your dreams. How's it going, brother? Okay, certainly a few licks in there that I'd say I would steal. I am going to steal. And again, we're going to be instrument agnostic. If we hear something in the sax that's cool, we'll make note of it. Just so you can see. Me just keeping track of things as it's going. Things that I'm going to steal. Dennis Chambers on drums here, of course. Would think of this as being modal, minor 7 sharp 5. Yeah, this is a big long section of a modal sound and then shift to a different sound. I actually thought there were going to be more licks on that one that I wanted to steal. But this is always a big relief, to be fair. You don't want to get to the end of a record and go, oh, now I've got 200 things I have to transcribe. That bass line is just so cool. It really is. It's like, this is like a Super Nintendo song. Actually, I think the thing that's so cool about this is that there's a lot happening. It's rich in terms of texture, but the textures themselves are not overbearing. There's obviously a strong bass line there. You've got some keyboard part playing. You've got guitar and saxophone, but there is a lot of space in there. The drums are going nuts. I mean, it may well have been, but you're a minute and a half behind me, apparently. 5:22. Sorry. Okay, heading into Chief. Groove, isn't it? That's cool. Brecker is on that with the Iwi. It's often said how much of an influence Bach is on Stern's writing style, and you hear it, at least I certainly hear it, that the distinct bass lines and counter melodies to them, the way you could boil a lot of Mike's music down to just two fingers on a piano playing a bass part and a melody, and they work really well with each other. James Yellow, how's it going, bro? Thanks for tuning in. And of course, this is fast. It's a really interesting time in music and jazz because sonically this is so different. This to me is that 80s New York jazz sound, and it's cool that we've had that in our lifetime. It's easy to say jazz and just think of it as a broad thing that all sounds the same. I know to people that don't listen to the genre, that's probably how they feel about it, but there's just so much variation from place to place, in the same way that there is with blues. There's a big difference between Texas blues and Chicago blues. Even Mississippi blues and Louisiana blues, like there's a difference in those things. So much experimentation happened in here, isn't there, with like these 80s synth sounds. Yeah, I kind of know what you mean there. Mine 7 5. Well, Mike is a musician that happens to play guitar, but I know he considers himself a jazz musician. I think you get the same with Pat Metheny. I wasn't crazy on that line. The triplets, not what I'm looking for. No, not crazy on that line. I mean, not bad lines, don't get me wrong. But hello, Michael Brecker. I assume that's the Yui. James, if you ask for something that I've already done, I'm going to tell you I've already done it, and you're going to get a significant reduction on the rate. A significant reduction, same price as a guitar lesson. And if you want me to do a whole album, I can cut. Well, no, not as much as that. I can cut deals on big orders. It's not uncommon for somebody to, pay £900 for a transcription job. Like that happens. I like it when that happens. 100% the Iwi. I've always seen the value in transcriptions, but even when I was younger, the idea of having default no policy on Sean Lane stuff. The idea of having something completely bespoke and unique that's been made for me that no one else in the world has, like that's really cool. And can you put a price on that? I'm actually going to be doing a video on that because I have some products like that, not my own, like things that I've bought over the years that are not completely unique, but certainly, very, very unique items. Now, if I'm completely honest, I know at the time this iwi stuff was probably considered cool and cutting edge. And jazz guys are all about experimentation, or at least they should be. But I kind of feel it's the same as with like the early Tribal Tech albums, where the technology hasn't aged well. I've got a full album on the go now, actually, James. Somebody made me an offer that I couldn't refuse on some Sean Lane stuff, and I still refused it. I didn't take a single lick off of that track. There's a guy that asked me to do a Sean Lane track, and if it wasn't Sean Lane, the price for it would probably have been about £120. And he offered me £1,000 for it. He said money's not an issue, and I still said no. Because everything has a cost. And that would have cost me my sanity. I'd probably still be doing it now. Because this is rhyme or reason. I'd have no problem doing the Conquering Dystopia stuff. Wouldn't bother me. But yeah, I like absolutely. Sometimes transcription work is difficult. I wouldn't say I'm well paid for what I do. You know, I'm paid based on the amount of time that work takes. I mean, my hourly rate is it's agreeable, shall we say? Like I'm happy with my hourly rate, what I make, but it's not like I'm getting paid, you know, £1,000 for an hour's work. I get a job comes in that's £1,000, like you can guarantee that like over a week of work is going to go into that. I talked about this. What was that? Fierce Van Oeflet, Oeflet, at the start of the stream. I don't like Mike's chorused sound, but I admire that he's been consistent with that. It's just sheet happens, man. That's exactly it. -7 sharp 5. People think that I won't transcribe Sean Lane because he's the most technical guitar player of all time. It's not that at all. It's that when he plays super fast, he is so messy. You just can't hear what's happening. And I don't like to do guesswork in a transcription. I don't think that's fair on the client. Sometimes the client is fine with that. They're like, fine, just kind of guess like, give me an educated guess of what he's doing. I'm glad you get it, Fred. The plan, I think, in the long run, is to be able to do these via Discord, because I know I can stream music via Discord, and we can use the voice chat app in there, so we'd be able to literally talk. But the literal reason I'm doing these is so that we can engage with each other, talk, have a good time. I feel bad because I'm talking through this track, but this isn't what I want. When I go for Mike Stern, this isn't what I'm looking for. And what you're talking about there, -7 sharp 5, right? If you can't hear what's happening, so you have to guess, not only will that put you off, but if you're being paid to do a job, and like a transcription shouldn't be subjective, it's objective. This is what was played. You've paid me the money, here is what he played. And any time that you have to short the client on that, any time that there's a degree of uncertainty to something, you just don't deserve to be getting money. I don't feel right taking the money. So. I've never actually transcribed any OPEF. OPEF are another band that I would consider saying no to because I love their music so much, and I love the fact that mystery is still there in their music for me. I'd be very surprised if Blackwater Park hasn't been transcribed by somebody, though. So, no licks on rhyme or reason, but we knew that was going to happen as soon as the track started up because it's full on ballad, right? Alright, moving on to the last track, Quirk. 7-minute track. Fucking comma pumps. Thanks for that, Adam Neely. What's the easiest thing I've ever had to transcribe for some real money? I'll think about that one. I want to listen to the track, though. Because I expect there to be licks on this one, right? That was triplet, so that'll be a no. I'm going to pass on that lick. Yep. Yep. But to answer the question, Mind 7 Sharp 5, it's not what you think. It's stuff like Eric Clapton stuff, live Eric Clapton solos, or Pink Floyd solos and things like that. And it's not because I get paid real money for them. It's because even with a discounted rate, you end up, getting a £20 for 10 or 15 minutes work. Or if it's a longer transcription, maybe a 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute solo, and you're getting £70 or £80 for it, and it takes you a little over an hour. Triplets, that'll be a no. Triplets. I haven't, Archie, no. That's a classic Mike Stern lick. 3 minutes. That was cool because he went for a diminished sequence, fucked it up, and then just started it again. 3:15. When you say what's up with the triplets, 350, yep. What do you mean by that? Why is he playing them, or why do I have issue with them? Love those harmonics on saxophone. Overtones. It's not that I have issue with them, Edgy Boy. It's that's not what I'm looking for today. I'm not looking for how Mike Stern plays triplet runs. I'm looking for Mike Stern's 16th note runs, his even space stuff. And we'll talk about this in the video where I do the transcription, but it's about articulation. It's about how he articulates swing picks, if you like, the 16th note runs, strong beat, weak beat runs. I'd have an entirely separate study session where I would be looking for 16th note, triplet runs. I love saxophone. This is the type of music that would make my wife want to kill herself. Like, Mike has a bunch of trademarks, and I'm not looking at stealing all of his trademarks in this particular one. I am looking at the thing I want to learn, which is those 16th note runs. You could do another session on this and look at his chord playing, or you could do a session on this looking at some of his trademark like double stop runs that he plays. I mean, there haven't been any on this record, but yeah, very specific thing I was looking for. Or how he implements blues in his jazz lines. Like, you notice not a single lick that I've made note of here has a bend in it. Mike bends a lot. That's just not what I'm interested in learning. Okay, so that's the record. So there we go. That's the full record. Now, just as a final note, I'm going to make some recommendations. Pull up this best of Mike Stern list for you. I've not filled this out massively, but this would be like an hour-long playlist of stuff that I would listen to if I just want to get some of that Mike Stern vibe going. It contains the songs Chatter, Chromosome, Tipitinas, Play, Swunk, Jigsaw, Gossip, and Upside Downside. These are some of my favourite Mike Stern tunes. I really dig these tunes. I'll put Chatter on just for a second. Not that you'll hear it, but if you were to cue up Chatter, like when I listen to Chatter, it's got that. It's a nice tempo. I love those chords behind the melody, but these unison ideas, and they float around the tonality a lot. Mike picking down by the bridge, soul pointed cello. Builds out with the chromatic descent in the bass there, which is kind of cool. And then builds, adds the bass into things, and it that's a cool line, the 8th note run there. I really like that. It really, really does it for me. Same with a tune like Tipitinas. If I put Tipitinas on, it's Dennis Chambers on drums again on this one. Lush chord. There's heavy groove, and then the melody. That was one of the tunes that used to get called at the Hoxton Jazz Jam. That's one that's fun to play on your fretless guitar. Anyway, there we go, guys. So I've got a bunch of things that I'm going to transcribe. I will sit down and transcribe these tonight. I'll learn them and I'll get them together for a video on, the things that I've learned from this. Teach you a bunch of Mike Stern licks. So I put in the work so you don't have to. Not sure what it is now, but publishing used to pay about $25 per printed page. I love that old approach to doing things like pay per page or pay per bar. A lot of transcribers back in the day would be charging per measure. Yeah, I think it's all just too complicated. Some people would like to charge an hourly rate. I don't know how long a job's going to take me. So as y'all know, I charge by the minute of audio. That way I can be consistent. Because when I look through my emails, you can't see my emails, thankfully. I've got like 54 emails that need dealing with at the moment. And sure, some of them are reminders of things that need doing, but there's definitely 4, 5. There's 6 transcription things that need to be dealt with. And I know that some of those are just going to be, I'll email the person back, tell them how much my rates are, and I'll never hear from them again. So if I was having to estimate how many pages something was going to be, or how many bars the piece has, or how many hours it's going to take me to do something, I don't have time for that. But what I do have time for is saying, I charge £22 per minute of audio. That's nice and easy. Right. So I assume there's no final questions. I am going to head into my house. And again, link to Discord. If you would like to talk about this stream further, the content, the stuff that we've been talking about, here is a link to that in the comments section now. So please do join us on Discord and we can talk more about this stuff. And I hope I will see some of you over there later on this evening. So much love, guys. Hang on. Much love, patrons. Thank you very much. You can tell I'm eager to go and get my dinner. Much love, patrons. Thank you very much. Link in the description if you want to check me out on Patreon. And there is a link to my, well, it's not a link actually, but books available on Amazon. Have a look for Levi Clay. You'll find something that you might enjoy over there. One thing buying transcription, other thing being able to play the stuff. Well, that's absolutely true. A lot of the time when I have done, because it's not like I've never done Sean Lane stuff. Same with Alan Holdsworth. Like I've transcribed a bunch of these things for people, and sometimes you just get halfway through a transcription and you're like, why are you paying me to do this? Because you can't play this, and you'll never be able to play this. But that shit happens. So anyway, guys, much love, and I will see you for another stream soon. Goodbye.